Hey guys, I'm here again. Yes, that's me. Just going over what we're doing for today. Pretty simple. Working on questions 31 through 35 in your study guide, and we're going to get you guys notes today to help you guys do that. And then, if you would, please start working, if you haven't already, on that thesis and intro for question number 40. And someone asked me, well, do I have to agree with it? No, that's the whole point. It's an argument. You can agree with that argument or you can disagree with that argument. So please understand, when you look at your notes and you look at your book, probably you'll figure out which side of the argument is the better argument to be on. But you could probably figure out one way or another to do both. But there is one way that's better. All right, so you guys are going to figure that out, hopefully, and we'll get to see that. We're going to have you guys have that done by Monday. So you guys should have your thesis and your intro done by Monday. That's what we're shooting for. So be done by Monday. All right, so I want to get to your notes real quickly. So let's talk about your notes. I believe last time we had just finished up with the National War Labor Board, and that wasn't very nice what they were doing. Or I should say, actually, I'm sorry, the company's labor movement. Yes, the labor movement. They weren't being very nice at all. Last thing we left off on, oh yes, was the War Industry Board. There we go. And many business leaders oppose them. Okay, good. So the Food Administration, letter C, will be led by a future president by the name of Herbert Hoover. It'll be led by a guy by the name of Herbert Hoover. He was a mining engineer that had put together a relief program for the citizens of Belgium that were under the control of Germany during the First World War. He encouraged farmers to increase their production by guaranteeing them a certain price for their farm goods, which is kind of cool because if you remember from the very beginning when we first started, farmers have been always struggling with that price thing. He conserved food. He conserved food through special days like Wheatless Mondays and Meatless Tuesdays. So he conserved food through special days like Wheatless Mondays and Meatless Tuesdays. Restaurants will start serving horse meat, rabbit meat, and deer meat. Yum. Victory gardens were encouraged. They were encouraged to supplement the government's efforts. Victory gardens were encouraged to supplement the government's efforts. In support of prohibition, there is a ban on beer because it's made in Germany. Haha. So in support of prohibition, there's a ban on beer because much of the beer up until we started making it was made in Germany. Citizens are told that wheat should be for troops, not for drinking, because you could take wheat and turn it into alcohol. So citizens were told, listen, don't use your wheat for alcohol, help feed our troops. So that's two ways they helped out with prohibition. Letter D, the Fuel Administration. James Garfield's son, the guy that had been assassinated, was in charge of this program. And he regulated fuel consumption, especially of cars. He will encourage daylight savings time so that we can reduce the amount of energy that we're using. He'll encourage daylight savings time so he can reduce the amount of energy that we're using. When coal runs low, he'll close all the factories east of the Mississippi for 5 days. So when the coal runs low, he'll close all the factories east of the Mississippi for 5 days. Pretty crazy. Roman numeral 9, industry during the war. Lack of labor empowers the unions, and many men are gone serving in the military. Oh, yes. Oops, missed a couple of these. I'm sorry. Yeah, lack of labor empowers unions. Sorry. Lack of labor empowers unions. Many men are gone serving in the military. Those remaining will be deemed important and in high demand and get higher wages, some benefits, including pensions and wages after the person retires. Okay? I'm sorry. Pensions are wages after you retire. Strikes occur just before we go to war, even though most unions had pledged not to. The National War Labor Board is created to settle labor disputes. The government usually sides with labor and not the management. Unions will get bigger and bigger now. Women need to replace men in the factories. They're told that their patriotic duty is to work outside of the home. So they're told to leave their home and work in factories. And by the way, this will help Mr. Wilson to support the 19th Amendment. We talked about that in the last chapter. Labor demands a change in the population. Companies and farms in the Southwest desperately need someone to do the labor. Their solution is to invite guest workers from Mexico to work here. Black Americans from 1915 to 1930 will start flocking to the north to work in factories. This is called the Great Migration. Businesses will take out ads in the South to encourage that migration. This will lead, though, to problems because in many of these large northern cities, most of their populations were 95 to 98% white. Now we have large numbers of Black Americans in these cities, and this will lead to race riots in cities like Chicago and Detroit. Chicago and Detroit. So this is going to be a problem. Is our society changing? Well, I'll let you know. Probably you can figure out, and I hope you figure out what the answer might be then to question number 40. If the war had never taken place in the United States, can we say that there was really a change in our country because of the war? Well, I'm hopeful that you guys are figuring this out. All right. So questions 31 through 35 is what you're supposed to work on today. Don't forget, thesis and intro are due by Monday. All right, guys. So this is the end of this video, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.